So it's Danny Flexon here for SecondsOut. Delighted to be joined by my good friend Sam Jones. Sam, how are you doing?
I'm good, Danny. I'm literally just waiting for the door to go because I've ordered an Indian. So I'm just paranoid because the kids are asleep. So I've got to make sure I get to the door before they hammer the door. So
I appreciate you squeezing me in before the poppadoms and naan bread marathon
I
starts.
don't really do the poppadoms, Danny. I don't really do the poppadoms.
No? Too
No,
healthy these days.
not really. No, probably further. I'm training. I'm training. I'm trying to be. But I've had a good week, so it's good little.
Cheat meal. You deserve
Definitely.
it, mate. You deserve it. As talking of people getting what they deserve, Jack Catterall, WBO interim title fight coming up against Arnold Barbosa. Seems to be going back and forth for a while before the fight was actually agreed. Now it's all done. Can you tell us what the kind of hold-ups were?
Yeah, Arnold Barbosa, not scared to fight Jack by any means, but he wanted things more on his terms. He wanted the fight to be over there. He wanted, and it's just not the case because not to be disrespectful to Arnold Barbosa, but not many people care about him, if that makes sense. It's not. It's a bigger fight. It's a bigger fight over here than it is over there. Fact. So Jack solidified himself as a main eventer now in the UK. Yeah, and we're just looking forward to the fight. It's a very big fight, and now the stakes have higher, which I think I kind of always hoped it would, because look, Teofimo Lopez is a brilliant fighter. Yeah, someone I respect massively. I spent time with him in Big Bear. I couldn't respect the guy high enough. Couldn't speak of him in any more. I picked him to beat Lomachenko, by the way. I thought I'd throw that in there. I did earn some money on that one. But he is a little bit not delusional about his worth, if that makes sense, of what he brings to the table. So he's at probably a standoff with Top Rank.
Mm.
But while he's doing that, I mean, listen, he's saying, I saw him have a pop at Shakur Stevenson fighting Schofield, and I'm like, his last fight was Steve Claggett. So it's look, the bottom line is Jack wants to earn the title, even though he already has. We all know what happened there, but he wants to fight someone like Lopez for the belt. But if not, Jack and Barbosa should really, in my opinion, it should be for the full title, but at the very least, the interim world title, where the status is protected. Look, Barbosa, Jack, whoever wins, which we believe Jack's going to win, that the status is protected. Like, we know that Teofimo Lopez will have to fight the winner in a certain time period, which 3-4 months. If not, the winner becomes world champion, and then they can. And as I say, the WBO, like other governing bodies and sanctioning bodies, they need to make money as well. And why the belt's collecting dust and Lopez is not fighting and arguing with promoters in the world, they're not making any money. So listen, there's no more deserved champion and somebody that deserves this status as much as Jack Catterall, in my opinion. Definitely not in British boxing. So it's the least Jack deserved. I've been pushing very hard for it. I know Matchroom have as well. But we are where we are. I'm really looking forward to the fight. It's a big fight. There's a great card being built. I know the full card now. It's a fantastic card in Manchester on February 15th, live and exclusively on DAZN.
Good. Nice promotional job there. Just onto a couple of your other fighters. Some managers wait their whole life for their prospects to get the benefit of a contentious decision. You've had two in a very short time with Johnny Fisher and Cameron Vuong. Let's start with Cameron. What was your scoring of the fight with Gavin Gwynn?
Thought he won the fight, and I've watched it back, and I believe he won the fight.
How much?
Danny, you know, right, with me, you've known me off camera, right? I'm honest enough to tell you, am I not, that we lost. Johnny Fisher, at the end of the fight, I thought, we've nicked this, right? I've watched it back, and I gave the fight to Dave Allen by a point. I scored the fight. Johnny won the first 4. Dave won the 5th with a knockdown with the 10-8. Then he won all of them till round 10, and Johnny won the 10th. But if you
That's how nearly everyone had it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This is what I'm saying. So I'm not dishonest when it comes to scoring. Like, Cameron, Cameron Vuong landed all the better shots. This is what happens, right, Danny? When a prospect or somebody fights somebody where the odds say 10-1 and it's close, it's a robbery, it's a disgrace. This is what people do. But
How did you
Cameron,
have it?
I didn't score the fight round by round. I didn't score the fight round by round, so I'm not going to sit there and lie. But I've watched the fight back. Cameron won the majority of the rounds on clean work, right? On clean work. Not saying that if Gavin Gwen would have got the fight, I'd have thought that's a bit of a shitter, but I wouldn't have kicked off. But it's the old saying with that fight of what you like. The Johnny Fisher and Dave Allen was relatively easy to score, in my opinion.
Very
Right.
easy.
So all these people are like, oh, Sam's talking. No, I'm honest. I believe Cameron Vuong landed all the better shots in that fight. Gavin Gwen is a hard night's work. He's as tough as a rump steak in a pub. And he was pushing his shots out, as he normally does, with a great work rate. But Cameron was catching all the shots. Look at the state of Gavin Gwen's face after the fight. Cameron Vuong won that fight, and I stand on it. And Eddie was sat ringside, and he said, he thought Gavin Gwen won the fight. But if Eddie watched that fight back, he'd say the same thing. Eddie was just under pressure because the general consensus in the arena was that Gavin Gwen had won the fight. No problem if you think that, but it's not a robbery. That's a fight that you can, if you like that, you score it to Gavin. If you like the clean work, you score it to Cameron. That's how it goes. But I'm not delusional when it comes to fucking scoring fights. Like, listen, Johnny, yeah, I think we got away with one there. But speaking about the Johnny situation, Johnny was bollocksed in the third round. He got hit in the ear, right? And his balance was completely gone before the knockdown. The knockdown was nothing because it was a heavy shot from Dave. Johnny couldn't stand up properly pretty much throughout the whole fight. So what angers me a little bit about the Johnny situation is no one can actually see the fact that they just think, overhyped, over everything, overrated, and they lay into him. But what they don't see is the fact that Johnny has zero amateur experience. Nobody expected anything of Johnny, right? The ceiling was, God, if he wins a British title, this is fantastic. If he wins a Southern Area title, fantastic. Johnny sells thousands of tickets. He's a huge name in the division. And he's actually a very, very good fighter. And I'm sad that he didn't kind of get to display the skills that he's developed with Mark Tibbs. But what he did show was a Tyrannosaurus-sized pair of bollocks, and everyone should applaud him for that. Because the fight, really, and this is me being honest, Dave should have chinned him in that fight. I've never seen a man more begging to be knocked out in that fight than Johnny Fisher was in that fight. But Johnny showed resilience, toughness, something that you cannot teach. Because a lot of fighters, and there's been recent ones which we won't name, that have tried to take a way out in a fight. And Johnny should be commended for his bollocks and bravery in that fight. And the rematch will happen again because it's massive. The fight's big. Whether people like it and they say, it's Dave Allen against Johnny, it's a big fucking fight. And the fight will happen again because Johnny's got pride. Who listen, whether rightly or wrongly or whatever you think, Johnny was the winner in that fight. He got the W. And then but Johnny's a proud man, and I'm virtually certain that he will give Dave Allen the rematch, which Dave deserves.
You say virtually certain. You're one of his management team. You've got a say in it.
I've got to say, I've got my opinion of it. I've got my opinion, and I've talked to John and I've spoke to Johnny privately, and I've given what I believe. But it's a decision for Johnny, Mark, his dad, Adam, and myself, and we will do what's right for Johnny. But me personally, I think the immediate rematch will probably happen. But if it doesn't, then it will happen one after then. But it will definitely happen. So that's me giving my honest opinion. And you've known me for long enough, Danny, when it comes to scoring contentious decisions. I didn't think the Cameron Vuong and Gavin Gwen one was blown way out of proportion, only because the odds were disrespectful to Gavin Gwen before the fight, a former British and Commonwealth European champion, and Cam was this massive favourite. Gavin Gwen's a brilliant fighter that's done a lot in boxing. I just think Cameron Vuong is a better boxer than him. And if they do box again, Cameron will box his ears off again and do it more convincingly. But Cameron's got a big fight to be announced very soon.
So an immediate rematch with Gavin Gwynn won't be happening.
No, it's not happening. Gavin's taking another fight, and Cameron's taking a fight against an undefeated fighter. Look at Cameron's record. This will be his 8th fight, and he's fighting another undefeated. He's fighting an undefeated kid. So Cameron Vuong deserves massive, massive credit for what he's trying to do and trying to achieve in his career. But the Gavin Gwen situation was my fault. I don't think I should should have put him in that position because he didn't get the kudos and the respect that he fucking well deserved after it. So blame me for that one, like I've already said. But let's move on. Deflex.
How do we sum up the Dave Allen one when Johnny Fisher, as you said, not much was expected of him at the start, but at this
Yeah.
stage of his career, you guys wouldn't have made that match if you didn't think he was going to win.
No, actually, Johnny Fisher has got to be beating Dave Allen, in my opinion, from what we've seen of
Was
Johnny.
Dave better than you thought he was going to be?
Dave Allen has always, what's the word? He's always not promised. So I don't know what the word is. He's always like promised a performance like that. Do you know what I mean? And I think that was Dave Allen's career best performance. Me personally, I think it was his career best performance. But Dave showed that Dave was pretty much not blowing out his arse, but in the 6th round, Dave was like huffing and puffing. But Dave put on a brilliant performance, a fantastic performance, which, listen, he got well paid and he'll get well paid again. And that's what counts. But Dave Allen wanted to prove himself a point after the Fraser Clark performance. And listen, Dave Allen should be proud of himself after that performance. And was he unlucky not to get the result? Absolutely. But Johnny got the win, and I'm sure the rematch will happen, like I say.
Now, 3 fights that may or may not happen in 2025 that we talked about on our live show earlier this week. I'm just going to get your take on those 3, kind of in reverse order in terms of interest that was shown. Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr., everyone keeps telling us it's closer than it's ever been, but we've been hearing that for 6 months now. Is it going to happen this year?
Yeah, I think so. From the conversation I've been having, but look, there's a lot of egos involved. The guys don't like each other, and that's when you're dealing with that, it's difficult to. The fights are difficult to make. Conor Benn's got another option with the Mario Barrios fight for the WBC World Title that you never know might not come around again for a while. So there's a huge other fight there for Conor Benn. So the deal has to be right for Conor, and likewise it has to be right for Eubank. But I think as British boxing fans, I know people say, "Oh, Conor Benn or Eubank's this," but we would all be watching that fight with unbelievable interest because of the names, the fact that the guys don't like each other, the controversy surrounding Conor. Like it's a big fight. It's the 2nd biggest fight to be possibly made in this country, just behind Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua.
We're going to get to that one. But before we do, one that's maybe a big fight on the other side of the Atlantic, Terence Crawford, how much chance do you give him against Canelo if that fight comes off?
Terence Crawford's probably my favourite fighter in boxing, but I don't give him that much of a chance because I just think you saw Madrimov gave Crawford a few issues. And I think Crawford's also, remember, Crawford's what, 38, 39? Crawford's really getting on now a little bit. I'm not saying he's completely declined, but you can't really get better at that age. Canelo's just too big, I think, in that fight for Crawford. Just simply too big. But if it was at 154, I'd pick Crawford all day in that fight. But it's at Canelo's, it would be at 168.
Yeah, I guess.
Too big.
Canelo's going down.
Just too big. Just simply too big. So, but would I be interested in the fight? Yeah, of course I would, because it's 2 huge names in boxing. But I would favour Canelo in that fight. Reluctantly favour Canelo.
And as you said, the biggest fight possible in Britain this year will be Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. If it comes off, it's no longer for a world title. It's no longer for the best heavyweight in Britain because of Daniel Dubois. Does that matter?
Yeah, I still think it's not about the back. Listen, it's about what they've achieved. Like Daniel Dubois is riding the crest of the wave now, right? But in the past, over the last, 10 years or 8 to 10 years, Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury have led the way for the 2 best British heavyweights. So it's for that kind of supremacy. It's for who was or is the best British heavyweight of this era. I think that's fair to say, right? I know, like Simon Jordan, I got asked about the other day. Simon goes, "It's the battle of the losers." Listen, Simon Jordan was there ringside to watch Conor Benn against, Kell Brook against Amir Khan. And that was the fight too late with Amir Khan and Kell Brook? Yes. But did we all fucking love it and watch it with unbelievable excitement and anticipation? Yes. We loved the build-up. Is this fight happening too late? Yes. But are we all going to sit there and watch it and try and get tickets or watch it in our front room and buy the pay-per-views? Fucking right we are, because it's a brilliant, brilliant fight. And we need to see it before the two guys retire, because they've both done huge things for British boxing. They're both two huge stars in British boxing. They still are, no matter what anybody says. And the fight's got to happen.
Who wins if it's next?
I don't know, I don't know, I mean, listen, you'd have to probably favour Tyson Fury, but listen, I know Tyson personally, and I'm an AJ fanboy, so it's like it's a
Sophie's choice.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think with the fight being a little bit too late, it's like Amir Khan against Kell Brook. The fight was really exciting. The fight, if you remember watching it was so exciting. I mean, Amir was past his best. Kell was probably past his best, but probably had that more left in the tank. It's probably who's got more left in the tank between AJ and Fury.
And just before I let you go, we get Big John Fisher's Chinese order every week, 'cause he tells us on Instagram. What's your Indian order that's about to arrive?
I've had Chinese and Indian, to be fair. There's Chinese and Indian. So
on the way?
No, the Chinese is sat there. So the Chinese order I've had.
Why have you got both?
Best of both. Mrs. has got Indian, and I've got Chinese, but I'll probably mix and match it. So the Indian is just tikka masala, but that's not my order. I would have lamb sog, a cheese naan, mushroom rice, and probably a few lamb chops. So I'm a big lamb chop person. Love a lamb chop. And the Chinese tonight is fried noodles with vegetables, sweet and sour chicken Hong Kong style, roast duck Cantonese style, and egg fried rice.
Wow. That's like a starter for the Fisher in the Fisher household.
That's a start for him. I'm not the caliber of man that Big John is, so I've got some catching up to do there. But yeah, that's my order tonight.
Well, you got a few different styles from what you were saying. Styles make fights, and styles make Chinese orders, apparently. So
yeah. So sometimes I like a bit of spice tonight. I've not really gone for the spice tonight.
No, you're living up to your British roots.
Yeah, a little. So I do like spicy food. To be fair. I do like spicy food, but not so much tonight. I'm about to watch Traitors, Danny. Have you watching Traitors?
No, I'm not. Is it
the best program? It's the best program on television. I promise you. Watch it. You're going to be like captivated. You've got to. Traitors, unbelievable. But this season's like really good for the wrong reasons. Like the traitors are really shit traitors, and the faithfuls are really shit faithfuls. So it's like making it a brilliant season.
Like two donkeys make a derby, to use a boxing.
1,000,000%. That's exactly what it is. This is box office, so get it watched.
Great stuff. Sam, really appreciate it. Enjoy your dinner, mate. Take care.
Take care, Danny. See you later, mate.
Later.